Joining me now is Doug Britton, who is the CTO with RunSafe Security. Doug, thank you so much for being here with us.
My pleasure.
Tell us about your presentation on automotive cybersecurity.
Well, thank you. It was exciting to be able to discuss the economics of cybersecurity in an automotive context. The transportation industry has long been a target of attackers that are trying to get cargo, things like that. So how will that transform? How will attackers adopt new methods as vehicles include more computers is a really interesting question. And I think our best chance of countering that is to understand the economics of of the attackers.
What do you see as the state of security as we speak right now?
So one of my concerns for the state of the industry is that we're only beginning, I think, to practice that it is an adversarial industry. So like the legal profession is from day one built as you always have yourself and opposing counsel, and you train to always knowing that adversary is always there. Mm-hmm. Cybersecurity is only recently is doctrine and dogma reflecting that this isn't a simple practice where you go do the right thing and everything's okay. You have to build in from the beginning that every decision you make, there is somebody on the other side of the table. Mm-hmm. You don't know them, they're thousands of miles away likely, but they are going to take every decision you make and figure out how to weaponize it against you. Mm-hmm. And so I think inculcating that discipline from the very beginning in our studies and our practices is essential.
So now what do we say when it comes to the challenges in getting the automotive industry to a safe and secure environment?
So I think one of the biggest things is the industry needs a new risk model. So if we look back at physical security, the industry has long understood generally how do you transport something of very high value safely, because we understand essentially Newtonian physics, that if somebody is going to threaten your safety, they have to get close to you, they have to use a weapon, you have to know that weapon's there for the threat of harm to be useful. So we're used to planning convoys and complex, hardened vehicles that deal with this set of threats. Now, in the cyber world, you don't have the bounds of simple Newtonian physics. Your attacker doesn't have to get close to you, and likely won't, and they don't need to be there at the same time. They probably began their work 6-12 months ago. And so reconciling those risk models into one, as I called in my talk yesterday, this cyber Newtonian wormhole, how does that all reconcile is a very complex question.
So let's talk about you specifically. What excites you when it comes to the automotive industry?
Well, I think there's a really exciting opportunity to change the relationship that cybersecurity as an industry has with the automotive industry, transform that relationship with the buyer instead of being a cost sink and sometimes lumped in with the principles of insurance and like everyone just has to pay for it. I think cybersecurity can allow people to do new things with vehicles that previously weren't possible. Mm-hmm. And if people have 100% confidence that this vehicle is going to behave exactly as it's supposed to, and no one's going to do anything, unintended with it, they will trust those vehicles to do really exciting things. The advent of the sensor technologies that will save lives, the advent of these things that could enable the mobility challenged to be able to move freely. Those are really, really exciting possibilities. And if people have implicit trust that the systems are not going to be hacked, those possibilities can really be realized.
All right, Doug Britton, thank you so much, CTO with RunSafe Security. We appreciate you for your time.
Thanks very much.
All right.